The next thing I knew, I was living on the streets of Detroit, walking back and forth, selling my body for the next fix. They talk a lot about wandering in the wilderness, and that was my wilderness. I walked back and forth on those streets searching for drugs. Searching, just always back and forth between the same 2-mile roads, looking for drugs, looking for an answer.
The pre-sentencing, pre-conviction facts concerning Virginia was not very favorable. She failed to appear in court. A bench warrant was issued for her arrest. She was arrested on the bench warrant, or in any event, the bench warrant was canceled. She came back to court and she pled guilty. I decided against a prison sentence and ordered her to county time, which was ultimately could be proven to be a less number of days in jail. Without fail, periodically, more than annually, she would write me just to let me know how things were going. It was a benefit to me because I was able to see, here's someone who's actually taken the bull by the horns, and difficult past, difficult upbringing, difficult criminal history, who's actually had commitment to pull herself up by the bootstraps. So her testimony will speak for itself, has proven again the strength of human character, the strength of the human soul.
I was born into a very dysfunctional family. I was abused physically and sexually. My abuser was a member of the occult and used me regularly in his practices. It was devastating. 8 years old, I just remember feeling crushed deep within my soul. And I wanted so badly to not feel that way anymore. Nothing that I could do could make it any better. I remember as a teenager, I was very angry. I was very rebellious. And I wanted so badly to not feel like the person that I was. All I knew about life, about anything, was that I was not happy. I always felt so sad and I always felt so alone. Then I was introduced to heroin. I started stealing money. I started stealing things from my family. I was out of control. At 7 and John R, there was a lot of prostitutes, and my drug dealer actually asked me on one occasion if he paid me a significant amount of money if I would prostitute with him. And for a really long time I said no. I had a way to get money. I was borrowing money, stealing it, I was working, and eventually the time came when that wasn't enough anymore. My whole life, my body, I've never really cared for it, and it ended up becoming the very tool that I used to serve my addiction. And I ended up becoming a prostitute so that I could get the money I needed to continue doing that. And selling my body was really hard, but I needed to do it. I needed to use my body to get me what I wanted to feel good. I ended up in and out of jail. I ended up in and out of rehabs. And sometimes I would get straight for a little while. One of the last times when I had got out of jail, I did okay for a little while, and I ended up getting employed as a waitress. One day when I was at work, a man came in there. I recognized him from the last treatment center I had been at, which was Grace Centers of Hope. And that man was Pastor Clark. He came in every day, and I started to reveal my struggles to him. He had asked me to write a eulogy to say at my funeral and told me that if I continued down the path that I was on, I was going to die. I went home that night, I wrote it, and then the next day he came into my work again and I gave it to him. He told me the only way I'd be able to fight for my life or change my life is if I entered into the program at Grace Centers of Hope. It didn't take very long to convince me that I had run out of options. While I was at work that day, I made the phone call, I quit my job, and I entered into the program at Grace Centers. Going into the program, I faced a lot of struggles. It was through those struggles that I was given the strength to complete the one-year program, taught how to live life, and to know who I was in Christ.
Just thinking about how big God is and how He can use the things that Satan purposes for you, the things that people do to you, the things that you do to other people. But God is so big that He can take that and ultimately use it to fulfill His purpose. And not just in the grand scheme, but he can use it to fulfill the purpose in your life. I think a lot, like, you know, when I was a girl, like, just how alone I felt and how I felt like nobody ever saw me and no one noticed. And now, like, I know that he saw me and he still sees me and he loves me. So I just want you guys to know, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. And ultimately, it's his love that's gonna carry you through it.
Now that I look back, it has been an honor for me to have borne witness to the strength of the soul. Just a shining example of God's creation.
There are so many more women like myself at Grace Centers of Hope. I sincerely would like to ask you if you could kindly make a donation. This could be the most important gift that you give this holiday season. Visit us at www.gracecentersofhope.org to make your donation. Happy holidays!